Hallelujah.
Hello.
What's
I
going
know.
on?
We're like, ooh, happy
Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo,
Sunday.
hoo. Happy Sunday. We are
Yay.
live and
We're
direct, people.
Hello, chat. Nice to see you, peeps. Very nice to see you guys. Hi, Lawrence. Happy early holiday. The holidays
Yes,
are here.
they're here. Came up quick, fast and furious. We got all the things happening. We're gonna talk about all the things today,
Yeah.
Heidi.
But speaking
It's,
of all the things happening this week, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas, everything's happening. What
shout
do you
out.
have plans? Are
We had
you
the
sticking
winter
around?
solstice. Shout
Oh, we
out.
had the winter solstice. Happy
Let's not
solstice. Yeah.
forget our pagan peeps. I had a winter solstice dinner last night. Um,
Nice.
not a pagan, but
I
the
play one on
solstice,
TV.
shortest day or longest night, or however you want to say that. So we had solstice, Hanukkah, and Christmas are starting on the same day. I think Kwanzaa's the day after, maybe the
It's
26th or
coming
something.
around starting this week sometime.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean this is awesome. But before we have our discussion, Heidi,
Yeah.
we gotta have
Oh,
this
yeah.
is a special holiday
This is,
high five. A
this is
one,
how we get
a
started.
two, a 1, 2, 3.
Hey, that's
Oh,
better
contact.
than.
Not bad. Is that a you got a is it interesting arrangement today?
Oh, with me?
Yeah.
Am I like
Y
kind of like
No, I
angled or
like
something?
it. It's kinda like a Beastie Boy, kind of fish-eyed
Yes.
Beastie Boy. What you want?" And I got my hoodie on right now. We're in a hip hop mood, but I like is that like a
What is?
poinsettia or something in the
Yes, it
back?
is. That was a gift from a little boy. This is a gift from a little girl. That's a gift
I
from my
love that.
mentor. Look at this picture. I don't think I've ever shown it up close. She gave me a Rockwell. And it's a
It's
little
so cool.
teacher.
People,
Isn't that
the
sweet?
little things like that
Yeah.
actually are what make it so much
I
fun.
love my little gift. And then this
Um,
has been here forever, but my Charlie's teacher gave this to her. It's a sacred geometry because they were studying it. But it's
yeah.
like an ornament, but I think it's so pretty on the
That's
lampshade.
super cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I literally have a
Mo-
bag
Mhm.
of decorations and different things that I've just kind of had for all the time that, I've lived out here. It's stuff from my mom and things like this. And I just like break open that bag and I put my little trinkets around my place and it's like immediately
It's
doesn't take
holidays.
doesn't take much.
Yeah, I have a stocking that my grandma made me for when I was little, and she spelled my name wrong. And
How
now
did she spell
she
it?
spelled Heide. Did that forever on my
Aw,
cards. We just couldn't correct her. And then
that's sweet.
look at Blazer's already in. He's already prepared for what we're gonna listen. Look
The
at
blazer
for
yes, for
entertainment.
entertainment purposes only.
I love it.
Blazer's like
Hello,
the
peeps.
the honorary third. I think like Blazer's definitely part of the show.
Are we sure Blazer is an AI? It's always right
We
on it.
can't Heidi, I just assumed you knew who Blazer was. I mean, I came in, I
I
was like,
never met him in
there's a
person.
Blazer.
Not in person.
Is
You're right.
Blazer
It's a little
you,
fish-eyed.
Heidi?
Well, you're in town are you going to be in town this week? Are you going to be with your gal
I am,
pal?
yeah. So kind of
Okay.
a strange year this year, but yeah, I'm gonna be
Okay.
in the South Bay this year.
Okay. South Bay time. Well, up
Yeah.
here, the North LA Bay. We're in 70s. We're going to have a little rain, it says, on Christmas Eve. I'm not surprised as much as they've been doing the skies, but 70s till we go back to school. We're all like, "Meh." Sometimes we can see our breath up here, but no,
Yeah.
it's been a little toasty
Little
and
bit of nip in the air is
Argyle
kind of nice.
skies.
Nice for the
Yeah, I
yeah,
like
a
the
little
nip in
nip
the
in
air.
the air. Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh, so we're gonna get into it today. I'll talk a little more about we're kind of continuing a holiday series as we move through into 2025.
Mhm. Mhm. A holiday. I wanted to start the conversation off really by saying, celebrating all those different cultures this week.
Sure.
Everybody has their home, their family recipe, the staples they like for the holidays. And I'm going to have a Polish feast Christmas Eve, which is
Nice.
fish. It's like a mushroom soup starter and then a fish dish and potatoes, of course. And this vegetable salad that I was just over there at his aunt and Camarillo. I was there chopping today. I have to chop in fine pieces
Sure.
a bunch of different ingredients, but they're root ingredient, like they're whole foods. And so
No.
it just got me thinking, like the holidays sometimes, like the Thanksgiving, I surrendered and the kids and I had donuts and a pizza. Like, I mean, stuff happens, but the whole food cultural meals, it's kind of exciting to celebrate.
It
over.
is, especially this year when you have something where, was for Hanukkah, for instance, for holiday entertainment purposes only. I like that. Every once in a while, I just need that.
I
Pop up.
know. Thanks,
And
Blazer. It's
I
so funny. Go ahead. Sorry, Lawrence.
let's not talk about a fun ball.
I know.
Um,
I know.
no, so like Hanukkah, for instance, starting on Christmas Day, um, just open up the conversation about traditions, and it's something that I want to talk a little more about tonight about what a tradition is, how we can reframe these things. But food is like that's what's so cool about food is that food can kind of inform you a lot of a culture. There's something about that,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think it's a cool idea to kind of hold on to, whatever it is that in your own family, because I think we have our family traditions, we have countrywide cultural things and beyond. But like add one new thing in maybe, or just kind of like maybe throw in a dish that comes from another culture. I think that's kind of cool. I think it's really welcoming. I think with a lot of families nowadays anyway, there's already that my family back in Chicago is very mixed, and people are going to show up. I was always used to, for me, what was funny was Christmas was mastacholi.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Mastacholi,
Yeah.
pasta, because my uncle is Italian, and so that was just always served at Christmas. So pasta is Christmas somehow,
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
that becomes a family, and that's a
Mhm.
family thing.
Mhm.
You've got your traditional Christmas fare, but you've got
Mhm.
these things that like the people in your family can contribute. And
Yeah.
then when it comes to the kids, it's like, yeah, like, hey, and again, what does it go to? What country would you like to learn about, or what tradition, or hey,
Mhm.
what part of Kwanzaa would you like to know about?
Mhm.
What part
Mhm.
of Hanukkah would you not do you want to learn about Hanukkah, but what
Yeah.
part of, right? Again, we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
kind of control the conversations and open them up in a better way where we're not shutting it down and leaving it to a yes or no, you
Mhm.
know,
Open
open
conversation.
open
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm a huge
Yeah.
fan of that style of communicating anyway. I think it's
Oh,
great
yeah.
because it frees people up to and it gets your mind going, right? And that's what
Mhm.
we're going to do. Heidi, I got something
Yeah.
for you.
What?
I think
What?
you got it.
Oh,
You want
this.
to cue it up?
What are
What?
you gonna give me?
So here it is. Oh, look at that. So points of discussion, and I think like this could be something that this is really to just spur conversation and use as little jump off points. I put a little list together, what I call them kind of reframes in different areas of making healthier choices. Some of these things, Heidi, we've talked about before. Some
Yeah.
things are new, but let's kick it off. Let's just go to number one, and we'll touch on these.
Mhm.
And let me get the curse. Let
Just
me get the. There we go. Okay. Ba ba ba. Number one.
yeah,
Okay.
so new ways of saying things from
Yeah.
holiday
So
indulgent. Mhm.
exactly. So you know, again, these are things that when it comes reframes is because there are certain things that come to mind when people think of holidays where it's like the default, right? Oh, holidays, it's indulgent. It's, we're just slamming food, but maybe we can use that opportunity to reframe it into something more mindful, right? So to actually put that into the occasion of like, taste that. Doesn't that taste really good? Like really kind of encourage like the enjoying the food. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what it's for, and that's what always cracks me up about, holidays is like you're just flying through everything. You're like, man, people are spent a lot of time. So,
Oh, yeah. You kidding me? Those pierogies took Aunt Marisha 4 hours
oh
to
my
make
God,
to roll them.
and
They're
then
not gonna
look,
go scarf
my
them.
my stepfather, rest in peace, was
Aw.
Polish, and his mother, she was a big part of my childhood, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, we had pierogi,
Mhm.
and oh my God, and then some
The
of her
time.
desserts that she made like this cream cheese chocolate chip cupcakes. Oh my
Nice.
God. Like, just literally saying it and remembering it, it's like, "Oh my God." And after she had passed, it was like John, my stepfather, he would want those cupcakes.
Mhm.
And again, it
Mhm.
goes back to what I say over and over. He wanted his mom.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
It's so
Memory
this is how
imprint.
powerful food can
It
be.
is. But it's a memory imprint, the smell, the taste, it's that's your
100%.
time traveler, time machine is food.
Yes. Um, Traditions, right? So to touch on that, must have all the traditions, right? But
Uh-huh.
maybe new traditions can be fun,
Yeah, yeah,
right? So we can
restart.
embrace that idea that
Mhm,
there are new, simpler traditions can be just as fun as meaningful. And
mhm,
those things that when you string together a few years in a row, whether it's a family walk, a game night, that can be something that, it could be what I would say is health focused. And when I say health, I don't just mean the food. I mean healthy from a standpoint of connection and bonding.
mhm,
Those are opportunities that serve well for all areas of life when you want to exert influence over your family is
mhm,
connection before correction. So the more we can connect, the better chance we have to, let's say, correct on all sorts of areas in life and help. And that's what we're there for as parents, right? We're trying to help.
yeah, yeah,
From
yeah,
big
yeah,
meals are the only option to small balanced plates, right? So I had spoke about this last week about, try something, right?
mhm,
Go if it's like a buffet situation, because sometimes families get together, if there's like multiple families, it's like you've got like 30 or 40 people, they tend to do like buffet style eating.
mhm.
So just encourage
That's what
people
we're
to
doing.
try a little bit of
Try something
everything.
you haven't tried before, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But don't waste it, like, they don't take a
yeah.
scoop. Like, "Not to my taste."
I love this one a lot. This one, and again, this goes into choices and things that also encourage the connection. And so talking about gifts, um, to go from this idea that the gifts are the main event to like the experience, right? So taking trips or, because I always feel like the people that have the most money, they can buy everything, but the
Mhm,
memories that we have are actually the experiences that we have.
mhm.
So try to think of sometimes even just changing the setting. Like, okay, we're gonna eat. If you're in California, we're gonna eat outside this year.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly. Change it
we're
up.
gonna switch up. We're gonna do like a random seating chart. Pick a number, and then because that's the other funny thing when you have a lot of people. And we used to do this with the tone-up events. So I'm gonna go on a little tangent here, but I'll tell you, we used to call a system called Buddy Up.
Uh-huh.
And we would have multiple schools, right, from different states come together for our events, and we would kind of split the kids up so they would have to have like a little buddy that was from another school, and they make a friend. And when we
Cool.
sat them down for meals, like after the Fit to Score challenge, we all had a meal together. The kids, they were sitting next to kids from other schools and from other states, and it was really awesome because we had kids from West Virginia
Mhm.
sitting with kids from El Monte, California.
That's really cool.
So doing those kinds of things, because we tended to fall in our default. So mixing
Oh,
it up
yeah.
can provide the novelty, the new experience of mixing it up can provide something that's more imprintful from a memory standpoint too. Also important
Mhm,
to know.
mhm, mhm.
So there's that case to be made, that fine line of tradition. We do things the same, and then let's throw some curveballs in there and create a real unique experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Next one's kind of similar, sedentary holiday time to something active. So we're talking about hikes, these kind of things, more
Moving. Hey,
experience stuff.
even a really active game of Pictionary, man. I've seen people sweat
Oh,
when
so
when
awesome.
doing Pictionary or charades.
It's so awesome. Those are the things I always remember doing,
Yeah,
right?
me
Like
too. Like,
charades is
games were big.
classic. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like super classic. You know what I hate playing though? When you play,
Mm.
if Pictionary is the one you draw,
Yeah, that's tough.
when you play with somebody that's like a really, really good artist, like, and they're on like, and they draw it you're just like, what is this? Like it's like a photorealistic. You're like, this is stupid,
Yeah,
and I'm
like
like the
switch
worst
to charades. Yeah,
artist.
yeah.
Um, Tech free, right? So certain times during the holidays, screens,
Yeah, that's a
right?
tough one when all the families get together. You see the parenting styles jump in. It would be nice to have a general rule. Listen, kids,
Here's where you
gadgets
gotta just
off.
make it fun. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, we're gonna do
you
this.
gotta
Like,
be
throw your
good.
phone into the little, basket in the
Tin
middle of the table
box.
here for the next half hour or so.
Mhm.
Unless
Mhm.
the situation where somebody's on call for something, or somebody's in the hospital, they're waiting. I mean, but making this part of, like, kind of gamifying it, and make it fun,
Mhm.
decorate a basket that says, "Put your phone here,"
Uh-huh.
you know,
Uh-huh.
create something that's fun about it.
Uh-huh.
I think can go a long way, and
Agreed.
then look, this goes into also what should sort of, I think, be happening throughout the year, right? Of family time, meal time. This isn't just holidays.
Right. A good chance to, like, try something new with your relatives if you have to
Exactly.
rely on alcohol to hang out.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Um, the healthy holiday snacks, so keeping things around, again, additive. So again, you don't have to take away all the treats that everybody likes to bring, just kind of populate, right? So we want to kind of add healthy things, which I'm a huge fan of anyways. Like, you're not thinking of restricting or pulling away, just kind of adding in, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
This is a big one. And again,
What does it say? Skipping
regular
meals. Oh,
meal
yeah,
times.
yeah.
This is a
I
big
just talked to
one.
someone about that. Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I think that this one, a lot of people stray from this idea of, like, you know, having your regular meal times. I think meal times get thrown all over the place during holidays,
Mhm.
but if you keep to some regular meal times, like serve breakfast and lunch, even though there's gonna be a, uh, a holiday dinner, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I think that that could be helpful. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
there's some gray
Well,
areas in
we
there and stuff.
talked about that in a few other episodes about thinking you're holding off on your caloric intake, but you're really starving yourself, so your systems get all jacked up, right?
Absolutely,
Like,
and
you
yeah.
tend to overeat too.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
especially, and, like, this also depends on what the holiday season is gonna look like for you,
Mhm.
both from your family situation or your cultural situation. If you're in a family where it's multiple nights of celebration, or
Mhm.
that's tradition in your house, or there's a lot of parties on the agenda. Some
Mhm.
families have, like, you're going to various, like, you're going to friends, you're going to different family members. There are situations in families, especially nowadays, unfortunately, where certain people don't talk to other people. And
Yeah.
so we got to go over to, their place, spend a little time because, Chris doesn't want to talk to Karen, and Judy is mad at Mike, and,
Judy.
like,
Yeah.
so, like, that could actually become a big deal if it's over the course of 7 to 10 days. You need to kinda have some normalcy to your meal times.
Yeah.
Food
Makes sense.
representing love, to time together is love.
Aw. Yeah.
So, that's where it gets into the experiential thing of the cooking together, because then it becomes about the experience with the family member, the other person, right? As much as it is about the food. So even if
Mhm.
it's not one or the other, at least they're connected. That it's the quality of the relationship,
Mhm.
that really,
Mhm.
really matters.
That was today. I was chopping all those little things. We were having our moments. Even the giant was chopping pickles.
Yeah,
And then the kids were using this mesh thing to make little cubes. Like, we were all in it. And I took that moment of, like, oh,
it's
oh,
fun.
helping Bobsha.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Helping Bobsha, and that's where, the music's playing, and I'm a huge fan of this too. By the way, in terms of culture, play the music.
Hmm.
Play some Polish music in the background. You know, and you can do this with family night if we're trying a Cuban recipe tonight. You know, pull up pull up some Cuban music, play that, set the vibe. It's amazing too how well it's fascinating to me.
Please.
What do
Now
we
I'm
got
going to
there?
be singing this. Chopping broccoli. She's
I'm
chopping
chopping
broccoli.
broccoli, broccoli. Hey. Blazer must be around our age
Yes, I think
because
so.
there's, like,
Just
way
about
too
50.
many,
50, yeah, we have too many
like,
close.
bullseyes.
There's a lot on here, guys. I wanna tell you, I've seen it all, and I'm loving
Chopping
it. Thank you so
broccoli.
much,
Hey,
especially when we were
hey.
talking about buffet. Brown
Wasn't
Dwarf,
it
how are
this is
you?
Dana Carvey, right? There was a
Yes,
lady that I
yes.
knew, and if I
Dana
didn't know
Carvey.
her, she'd be the
Yes.
lady that I didn't know.
That's it.
Yeah, and,
52.
like,
Yeah, Blaze,
I'll
you're
tell
right.
you,
That's
like,
yeah.
I've got a projection screen, for my living room, like, so I'll put that on. And if I'm having Italian with my girlfriend or something, I got like scenes from Italy playing. I had
Ooh,
Italian music going, the candles on.
that's
Like, why
immersive.
not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Because
It's
those,
perfect.
I was gonna say is that food, it's amazing how it seems to everything kind of matches. Does that make sense? Am I
Yeah,
crazy? Like the flavors, like the 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 flavors and the sounds and everything seem to just kind of fit perfectly. So don't deny yourself that full experiential
experience. Yeah,
experience.
totally,
Um, this
totally.
all or nothing thing, like we don't have to stuff ourselves,
Right, right.
moderation, and that's usually set by um doing those things like keeping those healthier whole food items out, front loading the meals, in other words, like serving some of that stuff ahead of time. That actually then kind of allows there to be more moderation without having to think too hard about it. It's
Hmm.
hard to moderate if it's just pure like sugar.
Oh yeah, you're just going to go like on a ride.
Right. um Again, uh gratitude, always one, right?
Always
This is
gratitude. Yeah,
always going to be on there, always
yeah,
going to be on there.
yeah, yeah.
um Heidi, number 12.
Avoiding difficult conversations to open communication. Amen. Oh,
I would say this with this is the thing where it's funny because if children are modeling behavior, it's incredible how, as adults, how much responsibility we have to bear on this, because we can say all we want that we've told our children XYZ about how to communicate in this, but if we're not careful of watching how we actually are with other adults,
yeah.
it's the modeling. And
That's what they watch more than the words. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And of open communication, like if a kid really doesn't feel safe communicating, you have to be honest, is like, would my child come to me with something that might be embarrassing, or how do we handle as a family differences of opinion? This becomes more important than ever before. Some
mhm.
people are lucky to grow up in homes where it's kind of like you're talking about ideas and there's no real like, it doesn't there's a difference, I would say, between like a debate and like a fight,
Mhm, mhm,
like,
mhm,
to be respectful.
mhm.
um this is the time to step up.
I
Oh yeah, yeah. So
right there with
balance, it
you.
kind of goes through
I
that.
know. I think everybody's got
Food
that in
waste,
their back pocket with family, yeah.
leftovers. I don't know how you are, Heidi, but I hate food waste.
Oh my god, I'm leftover queen. Like,
Hate it.
I will take it all. And I was gonna crack a joke when I saw some jokes, Browndorf, with, the buffets, and Babsha's friend, a church buddy friend of hers, they go to the Mexican buffet, and she brings her Tupperware. So she makes sure when she's done, she gets another round so she
I
can bring
love
it home.
it.
No waste. I'm paying for it. But anyway,
Yeah,
yeah, I am a stickler about leftovers, taking them home if you're out,
yeah. I
portioning
think
them, eating them again, eating
the
them till
amount
yeah,
of
we're full
food
of
waste
leftovers.
is staggering.
Yeah, and in the industry, entertainment industry, it was really sick. It was pretty gross, yeah. And there's a
Ye
California law, you can't give open containers to the homeless. So they say. I did all the time, but like I would
Yeah,
have sheets of things, and oh no, it's already open. Shelters won't take it, and I
yeah.
think
This
find
should
that so
be
asinine.
this should be a full show one of these days of food waste, and
Yeah,
if people, I can show some of the numbers, and this is also a big part of appreciating, the appreciating the abundance that we have, in
yeah,
our country. The fact that we probably, I would say, throw away, the amount of the average family throws away could feed other families
yeah.
in certain areas of the world for sure.
Mhm,
Most of the world's population would be classified as hungry.
mhm. Which is
So,
sad. Yeah, we got
you
so much
know,
out there.
um,
Mhm.
and this also, I think it's, one way to avoid food waste is not just the leftovers, which I should have added here, but before that even begins is like actually planning appropriately. Now, some people are incapable of doing that. Shout out to my Filipino I grew up in a Filipino house, basically. My best friend was Filipino, and they don't know how to do that. But they are very good at eating leftovers. I'm saying, though, there will be 10 times as much food as needed.
Oh,
That's just how
so
that works.
yeah.
And that's
Armenian
fine.
houses too.
Same.
Armenian
It's
houses too.
just the
Yeah.
food is the food. But
That was their love language too. I'm going
yes.
to give you 10 different types of food if you're a guest for an hour.
And so it's, there are those considerations, but being mindful of that, I think food waste, that's a big deal. That's a bigger deal than people,
Yeah.
it's one of those things, the trash everyone's throwing. Think about it. Okay.
That's why I miss craft service. I took all the leftovers. I didn't buy groceries for 10 years.
Yeah.
Just have the leftovers.
15 and 16 go together because
Okay.
so stress, again, a big part of health is stress.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
how
good
that
one.
plays on our body when we're going through the shopping chaos,
Mhm.
the work situations sometimes, where you're trying to cram in a bunch of work before you have a little break.
Mhm.
And then you got to come back in January, and then you're waiting on a bunch of email. There's all these stressors that happen for the end of the year. And so being mindful of you purchasing, I wish I'm going to give a tip that I don't practice enough, but it's something that my mom is really good at doing, is shopping through the year. She
Oh, yeah,
does it.
yeah, yeah. I got better at that this year. And
Man,
I'm done. I'm like, I feel
yeah,
good.
that's a
Less
huge tip,
stress. Mhm.
especially beginning in January when everything goes on sale. So this isn't
Mhm.
a tip for now, but in a few weeks, things go on sale.
Mhm.
Through the year, you inevitably come across something that you think of somebody and you think, oh, like, if the opportunity, grab it. You'll be
Yeah.
happy because if the shopping you get done June, July, and August, like come Christmas time, you're like, oh, I got it in the closet. It's ready to go. So you can kind of be ahead of the game by shopping early.
Yeah. Now,
You know?
sometimes I was just talking on a gal's podcast about this, that sometimes I guess that's tough with kids because their likes will change.
Yeah.
However, if you're focused on a gift that will constantly be giving them something new creatively,
Yeah.
like those mind puzzles or things that they can assemble, disassemble, reassemble, not just the one and doneers or trendy. I
Yeah.
think with kids, that's the classics and the timeless that never go old. And
Yeah.
everybody needs those staples. I'm sorry, but everybody needs chess. I think that's just the best.
Yes. Yes.
Chess is great.
This
Okay,
goes
good.
to the same thing about traditions. Do what feels
Yeah.
right for your family. This one I want to clarify. So I've talked before, and I'm going to clarify what I mean by that. Like, children should eat like adults, so we reframe from
Oh,
children to eat like adults to kid friendly. When I say kid friendly here,
I think I know what you're
I
saying.
don't mean like chicken fingers and fried foods. Because first of all, I'm not a fan of kids menus at restaurants, because they tend to just be junk food. It's like, oh, fries or jalapeno poppers or some kind of nugget.
Yeah.
But what this means is you taking something healthy and just maybe throwing a little spin on it, right?
Uh-huh.
So it might be like doing a roll up with like a little cute design on it, or doing like a healthy pizza, but small sized for them. So meaning that they're taken into consideration, but the food, as far as like what the foods are, it
They
should
get the same choices.
exactly, but
Yeah.
to kind of kid friendly it in from a presentation standpoint is what I mean.
Yeah, that
Not
makes
just like
sense.
not just like serve tater
Yeah.
tots and
Totally.
you
Hi,
know.
Bauer. He says, we are the gifts we need, whether we want ourselves or not.
I man,
Absolutely. And hi, Daryl.
frame that one.
This is the giant, and I talked about this right before we went live. He says, everyone takes home food after a big family dinner. Do you know what? We brought our Tupperware to Bob's today to get ready for Christmas Eve. And we were asking, what should we do for our Christmas dinner? And we're like, we're going to have Bob's leftovers. And last year, the giant did a shepherd's pie, but we knew we're going to be stocked with leftovers. It's all about those big meal leftovers. Sorry, I was running to
Love
read
it.
that
No,
chat there.
exactly. No, exactly. And by the
Chicken
way,
fingers talking about.
that
Yeah.
last comment was awesome about we
Yeah.
are the gift to ourselves.
Yes.
Amen.
Beautiful.
Experiment bacon using, whole grains, natural sweeteners. This kind of goes into last week's talk on paleo and that whole discussion about whole
Mhm.
food and some of the sites that I'd recommended. I don't know if you still
Mhm.
have them in your. I don't know if you have those sites, but Nom Nom
Oh,
Paleo
yes, yes,
or
I have those on here.
paleohacks.com. And again,
Really like those.
I'm not
Mhm.
saying follow paleo, but if you want great websites where you want to try to use healthier ingredients, upgrade ingredients, use something like coconut sugar versus refined sugar, using like maple or honey versus, some kind of god awful whatever. Those are good sites. Those are
Yeah.
good sites.
Mhm.
And then lastly is this idea that everything has to be perfect. Like throw that right out of your
Oh,
head
yeah.
and lean right into the imperfections.
Yeah.
You could close share because I want to really get
Yeah.
into this part of it. Is
Yeah.
that
That's
things
mhm.
are these things are just to throw out your plans. Make your plans to know that they're all going to go sideways, but that's part of the fun.
You're right.
And
Right.
maybe you're packing last minute, maybe you forgot that or whatever, but like life keeps moving, you
It
know?
keeps yeah, and that's the memories, of like, "Oh, can you believe it? We forgot the turkey."
You remember that time that like we like set the house on fire? No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing is that in all of these things that we do, the stress about trying to be perfect is way worse on the body, right? It's like
The stress is the worst part. Yeah, the
it's
stress.
worse than the quote unquote bad food.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, plus, what are you trying to be perfect against?
Right.
What something else is telling you it is instead of your making it your own special experience. And yeah. And
Exactly.
adjusting when the giant came into our lives, we adjusted our traditions, but we adjusted our routines and how we do the holidays. And then we sucked him in to our cozy jammy don't get off the couch days.
Yeah.
And we merged these traditions of in a very sweet way for
Absolutely.
5D purposes only. Absolutely. So funny. Um,
For those of you in the fifth dimension.
but yeah, that level of perfection, I remember feeling stressed even as a kid sometimes because everyone would come to our house and my mom did do everything, a
Yeah.
lot of things. She didn't delegate very well. But she also did it all. And then that means to me, oh, that means the day after we're not going to have access to my mom. She's going to be exhausted and like in her
Yeah.
room. And it's like maintaining that. It'd be nice to maintain that energy to all be together the day after, that go for a walk, go do the activity, things like that. Just don't get burnt out. Heaven's sakes, it'll be over like this.
Yeah, it comes, it goes,
Hmm.
and what you're left with is those memories. I mean, and
Yeah.
good and bad. I mean, there was one year where it was Christmas Eve. My dad, this is back in Chicago, so it's winter, snowing, slippery, ice. He's got some firewood from the backyard. He had his arms full of some white like birchwood,
Uh-huh.
and he came in and he couldn't slide his shoes off because everything was slippery and wet and snow. So he asked me to come over to take his shoes off, and I went down to go take the shoe off, and a log fell on my head. And there was blood, and it
Oh
was
no.
and I,
Oh
yeah, it got
no.
it
That
got a little
happened.
crazy. That
Oh
happened.
geez.
That happened, and he felt
Yeah.
terrible. But I do remember just kind of having like a cold steak or something on my head from the freezer, and then laying on the sofa in the fireplace going, and I'm like, I have a memory now, and it was just
Yeah.
we still talk about that, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I mean, that was like 1985.
Aw.
So
That's so
85,
that's,
86.
I well, to be
A
able to
Christmas memory.
yeah, to have a Christmas with my dad again, that would be huge. So I think of all the good times I did have with him, all the fires he made and all that good stuff. Our tradition growing up was watching Christmas Story. We watched Christmas Story was our thing. And talk about stressed out family. Like I think we had a laugh. Everybody had a laugh watching them when the dogs ate the dinner and they wound up in a restaurant, like all these things. Everything that could
Yeah.
go wrong. You could feel the but the theme, the thread through it was always comfort, but they were a family unit. This was
Right.
a family going through this, and I don't know.
Absolutely.
That's one of my favorite movies. Mhm,
Exactly, and those traditions of, like you said with your father, like you can keep
mhm,
watching that now, and
mhm.
and other things that are personal to you that you can just kind of continue to honor and keep those
Yeah,
things alive. That's the point of tradition is,
yeah.
um, to honor those before us, to kind of continue that thread. That's
Yeah.
what tradition is, to say that, to be able to express gratitude, because we're kind of living on the shoulders of everyone that came before us in every way.
Yeah.
So holidays can kind of are just there, I think, in a major way to give us that like
Yes.
connection to, because when I was a kid, I was the only little one for a while, right? Because my
Mhm.
brother and sister are so much older, my cousins are all older. So I was the only little one. So imagine how spoiled I got. It was always
Oh
at
boy.
grandma's. But then as all my cousins and brother and sister started having kids, it was like all of the sudden there was just a dozen little kids everywhere. And I kind of got thrown into the middle, like I was gone. And then, as families grow, then each family is having their own thing and their own thing. And now,
Mhm.
my sister is grandma, to her
Isn't that
grandchildren.
crazy?
D
Wow.
and, Christmas is at grandma's house, but
She's the wow.
and, now she's
Yeah.
grandma.
Yeah.
So those
Rolling
are
with the changes. Yeah,
rolling with
rolling.
that, and
Mhm.
everybody bringing their own thing, and it sort of slowly evolves into its own unique
Yeah.
characteristic of what a
It
tradition is.
in that same, reference well, in that same idea, like, I have a single mom friend and fairly new, but this will be the first Christmas she's not gonna have her son. He's with the dad. But
Mm,
instead of her going, "Ugh," and drinking the day away, she said, "I have been counting down for this moment the whole year." She said, "I'm gonna celebrate. She's just doting on herself. She's gonna pamper herself all day. She's not answering her phone. She's gonna read a
yeah,
book by the fireplace." Like, she's planning this day of solitude because she never gets that. So what a gift. And she's like, "I'm not seeing it as I'm going to miss Christmas with my kid. My kid's going to get two Christmases."
right,
And two parents that love him deeply, that know when they're in the same room they're just cat and mouse and it's not fair to him, they decided to do it separately. And she's relishing in her quiet time. And I asked her, I go, "Do you mind that it's the actual Christmas day, like Christmas morning?" She goes, "Not at all, because that day is what I'm going to make of it. We could do it in February if we want. And if I could have it
right,
Christmas morning, February, we'll have it." So her
right,
mindset was so on point. And I loved it. I loved that she didn't need to escape or numb. She was leaning into and embracing and saying, "Well, how am I going to like show my kid how this is okay? Like
yeah.
this is an okay
No, that's
week."
because then in that way she's seeing the gift of the positive elements of it. She's
Yeah.
kind of giving herself the gift of um, solitude and self-care, or whatever it might be. And good on them to make that decision and not put their child in an uncomfortable
Yeah.
position. And
Yeah.
look, that's the other thing that you know, be, being a product, I guess you'd say, of divorced family and step siblings and stuff, and that all adds other layers to
Mhm.
family holidays, and it's a very common scenario nowadays.
Mhm.
Every family has its own story. To even define what a normal family is, how do you even do that anymore? There's just
True.
no, there are no like real, you can't find like a cookie cutter. Everybody has their thing.
Everybody has their thing. There's a classic. I think the classic family is almost that old school family now. The OGs, your original.
Right.
It evolves now.
But the
Uh,
family is kind of ends up being what you are making it out to be.
yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole, but
I know. That's something
because
else.
obviously there are ideal situations for sure, but when we're confronted with the reality that the situation is less than ideal, then what do we make of it is really going to go a long way.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
those are
Yeah.
kind of things that, yeah, being intentful with the way you approach the holidays and being out in front of things.
Mhm.
But they're gonna come through, blazing through. This year's a little weird, you get when you have, like, a Christmas on, like, the middle of the week.
Uh-huh.
Kind of That's kind of a funny one because it's like we just
It's bookended weird. Yeah. Yeah.
afterwards, before, and then you get
Yeah.
hit with New Year's.
Which is the middle of the week. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one right after the other. Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, are you gonna feast? Are you gonna be on your own? Are you gonna or do you go out? Or
Well, I've my girlfriend's, has, her family. She's got children, and so we're just break that up. Like we just had we had a I called it like winter solstice because it wasn't Christmas yet, but it's kind of like holiday dinner.
Mhm.
And then we're seeing which of the 2 days, if it's Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, that we'll see each other. And then
Okay.
just some friends, some local friends, that people that are also not going back home this year for different reasons.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of like keeping it low key this year. That's going to be my thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
Totally.
changes every year. When I go back home, then it's the whole other circus that I'm a part of. So it'll be
Yeah.
me over like FaceTime,
That's me.
waving at everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to travel with 2 babies every year at Christmas. I'm like, through O'Hare in the winter. Yeah, that was fun. And then I'm like, "You all come to me now." And nobody comes.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but
they
we
don't
did
come out.
say, yeah, next Christmas Eve, and the Giant was saying, "Well, why don't we do Wisconsin? Why don't we go see your sister?" So
Yeah,
Carol and Jane, I'm coming down to visit. Yeah, we're gonna try it out next time. But in the meantime, it's nice we embraced the Giants family because I have no family out here. So it was always me and the kids. And now we do take on some new family members because of the Giants. So we kind of fell into their traditions. And it's nice. It's exciting. It's something, something different, something new.
yeah.
Well, 6 years now. This is our 7th year together, I think. And it's
Wow, has
enjoyable.
that already been?
I know, right? 2018 was his first
Wow,
Christmas here, but he wasn't living here yet. And then by 19, he was living here. He was stuck.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's that
Time
been
is
that long.
flying.
Time's
Time is
flying. Isn't that
really, really
crazy?
flying.
You knew my first hubby.
I,
Remember Mark?
Heidi, I got yes,
You knew all the peeps.
the Southern gent.
The Southern Jet. I remember when we were roommates and you stayed home for Christmas. And you were in Encino, and I flew home, I
Yeah,
think, to Chicago because most LA is a lot of transients.
that's
Like
when we
we're a lot of
first, because yeah,
transplants.
we first moved, and it was November.
November 2000.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember that. I
Yeah.
remember being in the place, our little pad in Encino.
Ah, we had good
That's
times.
that's also though, again, it's like that's what I encourage. I mean, to the people that are our age listening, there's maybe people younger, what have you, but it's like all those times that you think it's just like, oh my God, what a struggle or what a shit show that like it just ends up it's very like precious in a lot of when you look back, it's all very like,
Yes.
man,
Yes. Lawrence, I will always say, wow, we had some cajones. We just upped and left
yeah,
everything we knew with just a little bit of money and just went into the unknown. I think that was a
yeah.
really nice gift we gave ourselves. It's just, I
Absolutely. I think,
encourage
like,
that for kids.
taking
Hmm.
that leap, and I was trying so Heidi, I'm gonna ask you right now, right on
Yeah.
the air. What
Oh,
was that when we first because you and I, when we first moved to California, we're kind of dead ass broke, and we're taking different odd jobs.
yes.
I was doing extra work. I think I was, like, on Ali and, a little part-time gig at that store down the street, unloading the truck in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
What was that dating show that you won money on?
It wasn't a dating one, but it
It
was Street
was
Smarts.
but I
Street
thought it was a
Smarts.
date why did I think it
No,
was a dating show?
well, I looked like I was. I was in my pleather pants, my red leather,
Was
and
it maybe it was the host was flirting with you and in my
I
brain
feel
was something,
probably,
but
know,
it was like, you earned like
Street
$1,500 or
Smarts.
something.
2000.
2000.
I
So
Yeah,
Street Smarts.
Street
Who
Smarts.
was
You
on the
remember that?
well, I know Kurt. I'm, like, outing people right now on Facebook Live.
People
Kurt
might
was
know
on a
Yachtly
date.
Rock, Yacht
Kurt
Rock,
was Yachtly Crew,
or
yeah,
Yachtly Crew.
there was a documentary that they just it was HBO, and Kurt's band is in the documentary. There's
Oh,
a documentary
wow.
about Yacht Rock.
That's
They're
so cool.
I'm gonna do a plug to Yachtly Crew right now for Yachtly Crew. Shameless. It's Christmas time. That's their Christmas song. They have a Christmas album out, but it's Christmas time. Made the top 40 in the
Did it
charts.
Yachtly Crew?
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
Kurt.
it's a
Kurt,
pop.
also
Yeah.
my friends in the audience, because we're all the ET and Sasquatch peeps,
Mhm.
he made an amazing coloring book with has like crafts and
Oh,
UFOs
Kurt
and
is
all that.
incredible.
You guys would
Yeah,
love it.
let's we need to have Kurt on a show
We do.
and just completely go left one of these weeks. Like, don't even listen, just go
Not that
completely out
left.
there. Well,
Not that way. I mean,
not
but
that way,
just
but
curve, yeah,
outer
curveball.
space. Kurt is one of one
Kurt's awesome.
person, And he was on like a dating show. There's all these reality shows that were going on
Yeah.
when we first moved out here.
They just
Um,
became popular. Yeah, they
Street
just
Smarts,
started.
that's what
Street
it was.
Smarts, the game
Maybe
show,
it was
yeah.
maybe I'm remembering your after taxes money. That's
I
probably where I got that
That was
total
the
from.
50, yeah, I got less than that, that was for sure. That's a lot of
Man,
box
to
of wine
only
and
go
cheese.
back to what rent was like back then, though.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
god.
We moved in a two-story
It was
condo in
844.
Encino. Yeah, it was A44 that we split 3 ways. And we were
Drugs are
like,
cheap, and it was a freaking, like, condo in Encino that's
you had
probably
the
renting out right
stairs.
now for, like, $2,500 a
Oh, I
month.
would although it was the weirdest one because it was one of those square complexes and we were in the middle. So
Yeah.
you had no real window, you're looking at
We
I
had
mean, it
we
was a
had,
mess.
I'm in a
It was
mood right
funny.
now, I'm sorry. It was we had
Memories.
neighbors that I do remember some neighbors across the way that seemed to
They were not fond of
be
us.
in well, they were in there were some that were in the, adult film.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Oh, you don't remember?
No.
Oh, boy.
It's kind of a
That's a
blur.
severely, oppressed memory there, Heidi, because there's a definite, like oh,
Oh
man, I'm
gosh,
in a
it'll
mood.
probably come up.
But anyway, uh
Well, this is a good segue because honestly the holidays bring up a lot of old memories for
Yes.
people, and it either is the time of year that people are like, I don't want to remember this.
Sometimes
They're having a
painful.
hard time. It's painful. So, I
Yeah.
mean, leaning into them, letting them come up and out is sometimes a good thing. And when you get a new crowd of pals and you can share new fun things with, and hear from them, it's I don't
Yeah,
know,
I
holiday memory
think
lane
we
and
need to
walking
address
is
that.
kind of
That's
fun.
a good point because you know what?
Mhm.
The other flip side of this is that
Jade.
people are there we go. Yes. All of
Hey,
it tonight.
TKV. Yeah.
All of it. But the flip side is this is the time of year where depression is a major, issue, major
Yeah.
topic.
I kinda think we need our
Um,
whole episode on that
Mental
at some
health
point.
and,
Mhm.
I think a lot of that does have to do with that very last point from, that slide that I brought up was, we have to give ourselves some grace and forgiveness of just like how things are supposed to be. Um, there is none of that because you're going to just like there is a high amount of stress that people go into. They think I'm not doing enough. I'm running
Yeah.
behind on bills. I want to, take care of my friends and family. I want to get gifts. You feel really strung out, and it's a hard situation. But
Mhm.
those that'll be there for you, um, if your presence is a presence and who you are is a gift. To go back to that earlier, I love that quote.
Your
By the way, I want
presence
that
is a
exact
present.
quote. I'm going to
Yeah.
rewatch this episode and get that exact
Okay.
quote. But it's just the truth is that um, when you show up for people with love and some modicum of attention, to bring up Kurt again. I mean, I remember one year he's so creative. He made talk about coloring books, but he made this little activity book. Just kind of made this thing, cobbled this thing together. Went to Kinko's, ran off copies. He probably made about 15 or 20 of these, maybe even more. I'll have to ask him. And he bought these little
Aw.
toy harmonicas and he had them like zip tied to the thing of it. And it was just a little Christmas activity book. He made CDs of him with his songs,
Beautiful
on
singer.
guitar, right?
Mhm.
And put these CDs in these and gave them out as gifts. And to me, because he didn't, have probably a ton of money back then to like be giving people gifts. The fact that
Yes.
he did this for our friends was so amazing, and to this day, I have that
Oh,
in a box,
cool.
and it's like I have
Yeah.
that, and to me, it's one of the best gifts I've ever gotten. So, handmade, homemade things that just show some thought and some caring. It is cliche; it's the thought that counts, but don't think that you have to break your
Ser
bank
No.
to impress people and
It
do all
really
this.
matters the most with the homemade, I think. It really you're also all my friends here know about frequency and vibration. You're putting your frequency and your vibration into a gift. You're thinking
100%.
of the person while you're doing it. That's why it's like she gave me this gift. I can't even open it all yet because it's just precious. But I'll do
Yeah.
that. Or the kids, I encourage them to do that first, especially for the elders. Like, make something first because
Yes.
you're putting the love into it. That's really sweet. Do you remember Crafty St. James gave us that book, Dan Millman, The Life You're
Yeah.
Born to Live? I got that
The birth
tattoo
numbers.
of my birth number because I was so in love with that
And I'm
chapter.
3811,
Yes, and
and you are
25/7,
like
and
everyone in my family, by the way.
that's so crazy.
Literally, my parents, my mom's 25/7, my dad's 25/7, my
Are you
sister's
serious?
25/7,
Oh, no way,
and
folks! You got to get this book.
my brother's 34/7.
Oh, those sevens, man.
Yeah.
Well, I did all my family's numbers and I Xeroxed their numbers, and that was their gift because I didn't have anything to give them. But I'm like, this will change your life. And then, of course, some of them were like, but I was just like, it meant something to me.
But they'll
Oh,
never forget a gift like that, though.
they'll
It's an
never forget a gift
unforgettable
like that.
gift.
Yeah, my dad cried. He cried at
Frank
everything.
Joseph.
This is the flirty host from Street
Yes,
Smart.
yes. Trivia from
Thank you,
Tennessee,
baby.
Kentucky Bigfoot, Frank Joseph Nicotero hosted Street Smarts, and he had the hots for Heidi. I remember.
It was my pleather pants. My red
Past is the
pleather
past. The
pants.
future hasn't happened yet. The present. I didn't
you.
get you one. Zing!
Laser for the win.
I am such a sucker for those kind of jokes.
I love it.
I
We
love
don't
those kind
have
of
to
jokes.
categorize that. 3811 is 1111. You're right. You're 3811, Lawrence?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were
So
1111. Yeah.
so was 3 plus 8. Yeah. It's so was Rob. And I
Oh,
found that
bless
out
Rob.
week before he passed. So shout out to Rob.
Oh, yeah, go
Yeah,
Rob.
I remember that book
Oh,
well, and
yeah.
those were
I
the
still have
times,
it.
Heidi. And
Yeah.
that's the thing is like, there's gonna be times, like some years are gonna be
You're gonna be really lean.
and what
Mhm.
you get through by, I think this comes down to it, Heidi, because we had each other, we had our friends, that's what it that's a timeless thing, right? That's the point.
Yeah. And we
It's why
supported
movies
each
like
other's.
It's a Wonderful Life are continually played to this day because it's
Yes.
it's
I
true.
remember most about those days that we each supported each other's dreams. And I remember your face when I told you, I think when I was going into Crafty, and you're kind of like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you're an actor. And I'm like, I'm
Hey.
feeling guided this way. I don't know. But
But
I'm
now
still
all of your skills, so that's
it
what's so
all
cool
meant to be that
because it
way.
all
Yeah.
kind of ends up coming together, and that's what I think is an
Oh,
interesting part of the journey of life is the way you stack your skills and experiences, and it creates this own hybridization of who you are. It's like you're a
yeah.
teacher, you're a creator, actress, you're insightful, you're intuitive, you're
Business owner.
creative,
Yeah.
and all these things,
Department head. Mhm.
and it all kind of ends up being like where this Heidi that is this unique. And your
Yeah.
ability to have been on both sides that
Of the
industry
camera.
to be like in front of the camera as talent, to be in those worlds, and then to be kind of behind the scenes and mingling within. I mean, it's
I get that. I appreciate it. I would do it all over again the same way because I get that I was also being protected in a lot of ways. So, and I had to see it
I
from that
can see
side.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm so grateful for the journey. Real quick, I want to share for Daryl Stanley. Hello. He's asking what I'm lost. What do the numbers mean? So my 25/7 here, I come up with the 25 by my it's numerology. My birthday is November, which is month 11, 20th. So 11 or
You
yeah,
add up
I
all
would
the
write it
numbers
out.
in your birthday,
Yeah, you have to write them all out. 11/20,
all
1974.
the
I
single
add
digit
1,
numbers
1,
you add
2
up.
individual. And then that total number, my total number is 25. So then I add the 2 and the 5. That's my working number, 7.
And
So
to clarify about mine,
mhm,
Heidi, because it's 3811, someone might say, well, why don't you take the 1 and 1 and reduce it down to 2? You can
mhm.
do that, but in this particular set of numerology from this book and this camp of numerologists, which if you're going to go by that, they don't reduce. If your total ends up
They
being a
say it 11.
22 or an 11 or a 33, those are called like master numbers that you don't reduce.
Special. They're
Because I'm
special.
special.
I'm gonna write Dan Millman in here though, because you guys might appreciate. He also did
It's
Way of
kind
the
of it
Peaceful
was actually
Warrior.
a very cool book to look through, just for entertainment purposes only, guys.
Yes.
For
It was only like
numerological
5
purposes only.
pages. My number's only like 5 pages, and it was just blew me the F away. I actually refer to it many times. It's barely hanging. It's hanging by pieces of papyrus,
Yeah.
but it is hanging in there.
Can
So
I tell a
yeah,
weird story about Crafty St. James in our apartment in
yeah. Where the
Encino?
hell
And
is
this,
he? Yes,
no, I'm going to tell you a funny story. So this
and
is
his name is
wild.
Crafty, not
This
craft
is
service.
really the weirdest. This is one of the weirdest stories. So, my whole thing, Heidi's always was like, I was like the connector. Like I'd know somebody who would meet somebody, and coincidence guy, right? And like meet people, and then that guy would end up knowing that guy. And so I was at our apartment in Encino, and which I never do this. So this is really weird. I was lighting matches like a little pyro, like Beavis and Butthead, just like literally just doing it, and literally thinking, why am I even
No,
doing it? So
no smartphones
I
yet.
was lighting matchsticks, wooden matchsticks, and I
Uh-huh.
was lighting it, and I blew out the match, and I got a knock on the door, and it's Crafty St. James, showing up on like he's like a sitcom character,
He
just
was.
like showing
Mhm.
up, and I opened the door, and I got the matchstick in
Uh-huh.
my hand,
Uh-huh.
yes,
I just
and
have to throw him every
he goes, "I got a gift for you," and he whips out the book called The Tipping Point.
time.
Now, for those of you who know about the book, it's by Malcolm Gladwell. The Tipping Point book is a plain white cover with a
Oh, I love this shit.
matchstick on the cover. So,
Really cool.
without breaking stride, because you know how him and I were, we were just always riffing and joking. I took the book from him and I had the match and I laid the match on top of the book cover and it was the same. And I go, perfect match. Like, right? Well, anyway, that book was about this idea. The Tipping Point was about this idea of how ideas tip over and become bigger. And Gladwell goes into like historical references, like people like Paul Revere. The reason that Paul Revere ended up being the perfect candidate for saying the British are coming is because the guy knew people of all walks of life, it turned out. Paul Revere was like a dude that was like me. He kind of like knew people that ended up, like he knew all the blue collar folk and the upper crust. And so it
There you
was interesting because right around that time there was the Celestine Prophecy, that book that was like the spiritual side of that
Mhm.
idea. And
Mhm.
Malcolm Gladwell's was almost like the mathematical side of it because he kind of
Which is
broke down why ideas move and the 6
yeah.
degrees of separation and all that. But that, to this day, that match, that was the weirdest. That was
I
just one
love
of the
those
weirdest moments. It was
coinky-dinks.
so wild.
I
I was
love
like,
the
why was I
synchronicities.
striking matches literally for no reason?
And he was there
Yeah, and you
for no
guys
reason.
you have to look at the book of the cover of The Tipping
That's
Point.
awesome. I have to remember
Look it
that
up,
one.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Life you mentioned. Well, there you go. As you take what that whistle. Well,
This
let's wind it
this
down
episode was
here.
like the essay where you're just trying to fill up the required words. We're gonna make it to an
Fill up the
hour.
time. We're just filling up the time.
Turn on the word salad machine.
We were done in 30 minutes
A
ago, peeps.
supplement
We just
now.
want to talk. We're just chatting.
Yeah.
I
No,
will
it's
be
fun.
chatting live tomorrow. I'm gonna chat a little chit chat for the holiday because I haven't done my own one, and then get some more things brewing. But I'm excited. I want to hear how your holiday. We'll talk more holiday next weekend, but we'll go and dive into some good juicy stuff. New Year's
We're
is
gonna
coming.
have
I'd
like the
love to
new
get your
year.
thoughts on alcohol too.
We
Maybe
got
we could talk next week on alcohol.
Yeah, we got the new year coming up and
Mhm.
25
Can you believe
20
it?
25/7.
Oh yeah, it's my year. See how she did it? It's kind of like
Yeah, it's
funky
like
looking.
how, but
Yeah.
wasn't there a way that they wrote them in the book?
No, just regular
No,
form. I'll
no.
pull out the book for the next live. It's somewhere on this one. I love that book. Anyway.
Good
Oh,
times,
the
Heidi.
tipping point. And then someone also saw there were only 19 episodes of Street Smarts. Yeah, that sucker did not
Oh,
last long.
he's got
I don't know if you can find mine. That'd
he's
be
got a link.
awesome.
He's
I
got a
had to
link.
wear a dunce cap for one of the things, and talk about downloads. I actually didn't quite know the answer. I just was like 1,000, and that was the answer. And so I got triple the money in one or something like that. But I went in, didn't I, Lawrence? I said, I'm going to win this money. I went there to win. That was it. I was like, I am winning this money, period. And it was like my mindset.
Yeah.
And I only pictured that happening, and it saved my ass. It paid for rent for a couple months.
So I'm going here. I'm looking. So the original cover. So it looked like they changed, but the cover from if you Google image search, you'll see the OG cover. Let me stop sharing. Let's just do this.
Okay.
Hold on.
And then,
Here it
folks,
is.
I can't wait to hear from you next week after the holiday
Here, so you can
season.
see.
Yeah, it's
You
coming.
see the matchstick? Not the green one, but the white cover. Oh,
Oh,
I'm
I
doing
do
the
see
share.
it. It won't come close. Oh,
This
there's
is
the matchstick.
this was the
Yeah,
one.
that's pretty crazy. But Crafty was always in sync with you. You
There's that
guys were in
match.
sync.
That was the
That's so
craziest
cool.
thing ever. There it is.
That's a major coinky dink.
It really was. Okay. Yeah. So,
That's awesome.
there was around that time, I would say that there was a significant amount of magic in the air, Heidi.
Yeah. Yeah.
For let me stop that share. For all of us, and I think that that's something that I'll always remember is like the way that our lives would just like we would land on our feet somehow, and there was no
All
good
this, yeah,
reason. There was
all
no
the
good
time.
reason why we should, and we did.
We hustled. We hustled hard and we hustled for our dreams. And I think we were, supported by things past our own reality because we had ancestors by our sides, I think, because we've
Yeah.
been protected here this whole time and on these really positive, good missions. So, we're both have missions that to do with kids. And I'm not surprised because, we took ourselves through an interesting childhood
Yeah.
and adulthood. And here we are. So thank you, Lawrence.
You got it. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
Merry
Hanukkah.
Christmas
Happy
to
Kwanzaa.
everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Shout out to whatever you do. Be safe and love those around you and know that you're loved and that you are the gift, whether you like it or not. Wasn't that the quote? I'm going to botch it, but
You
you
are the
have
gift.
yourself as a gift, and whether you like it or not.
Yes.
KidsGetHealthy.com
And
and
rainbow
Instagram.
chefs. That's how, yep, there we go. I love it. Well, thank you so very much. Thanks, folks, for playing on this ride with us. Blazer, per usual, thank you so much, sir. You are
Blazer.
top notch. Divinely protected. Amen. And my blessings to all you guys. I'm sure I'll see you online, but I'm wishing you a beautiful holiday season. Know you're always, oh, thanks, Jane. Know that we're all connected. That's the beauty of this stuff. And we've built this community. So I'll be with you in spirit on the holiday and text anytime. I want to see some memes, Blazer. I get memes after the show.
Memes.
Happy everything, Lawrence. And I'll see you next week. Yeah.
Happy Christmas, Merry New Year.
Happy Christmas, Merry New Year. Blessings, everyone.